So today is buddhpurnima, and yesterday I had no idea I would be speaking here on this topic. I don't know how it happened, but here I am with this story of Buddha's enlightenment, and on the very day that he got it. Because today only it is his birth, his enlightenment, plus his death date. All three things happened on this date. Okay, we all talk about awareness, mindfulness a lot, but how did this concept start? And many know that these are connected to Buddha's teachings. And today's story is going to show how it is connected and how he got his name to Buddha, how he was named the Buddha. So I've done Buddha stories earlier as well, and we were looking at Siddhartha's progress towards enlightenment, the struggles he went through, the penance, and slowly his powers increased a lot. Like his power of concentration was so amazing that in meditation he could see each cell of his body. And he felt that each cell was like a drop of water. And each drop seemed to be part of an endlessly flowing river. And that river was of birth, existence, death. Sometimes the drops were appearing, sometimes they were disappearing. It was just one continuous flow. And he could realize that even the feelings were intermingled in this flow. Buddha could realize it, Siddhartha. And all these feelings were either pleasant, some were unpleasant, some were neutral as well. So all kinds of feelings were just appearing and disappearing. They were not a constant. And Siddhartha was aware of all the feelings in that moment. Whenever he was looking at himself or whenever feelings arose, he was aware of them all. And then he was also aware that how perception was a part of it all, how to perceive the cells, the life that they give. And if one's perceptions were correct, reality could be understood. But if they are not correct, if our perception, what we perceive, how we perceive anything, if that is not correct, then we tend to misunderstand reality. What is the actual thing? We don't understand that. And in concentration, he also could understand the mental states of fear, all those things that bother us, all with which we suffer: fear, anger, hatred, jealousy, greed, arrogance, and ignorance. All these things were just states, mental states. He could realize that. And his awareness was as powerful as the sun. And as the sun is very bright, सब कुछ illuminate कर देता है, सब कुछ के ऊपर light डाल देता है. So the sun within him, that his awareness that was like a sun, it could illuminate all those mental negative states. He was aware that they are just states of the mind, and he saw that they all arose from ignorance. So ignorance were the basic cause जिसमें से ये सारी चीजें जो है उभर के आती थी. And all these states, all these mental states were actually darkness. And यही सारी चीजें were leading humanity into darkness. So there was a complete absence of light. अगर ये सारी states of mind were present, there is a complete absence of light. And absence of light means ignorance. So if there is ignorance, people tend to thrive in these states. इसी में ही रहते हैं और इसी को बढ़ावा देते रहते हैं. When we are able to enter deeply into the heart of reality, we become aware of these negative emotions. जब हम अपने आप को deeply understand करते, we enter deeply inside, we become aware of these negative emotions, and we are actually able to break through the curtain of ignorance. जो भी जिससे कि हमें समझ आ जाती है कि जो ये सारी states of mind, where are they arising from? और अगर नहीं समझ आती, then we are in a state of ignorance. और समझ आ जाती है, तो liberation can be attained. Then we can directly experience knowledge. जो सब कुछ कहते रहते हैं, वो it is just not knowledge of the intellect. We actually, it becomes experiential. तो हम we understand where are these all emotions rising from? So Siddharth was also full of these emotions. काफी उसको feel होते थे these mental states of mind. And earlier also he had been trying to find ways to control these negative emotions, but कोई helpful नहीं रहा था, because those ways were only teaching him how to suppress them. But now when he was into that meditative, deep meditation state, he realized, he understood that the cause of all these emotions was ignorance. So ignorance of their effect on us. That was what we are ignorant. How are these mental states harming us? हमें कैसे affect कर रही है ये mental state? उसके बारे में उसको समझ आ गई. And he also understood the ignorance of their futility. That किस वजह से हम इनको feel कर रहे हैं. So he was able to understand that also. So he understood that सारी चीजें जो है ignorance से ही उत्पन्न हो रही है. सारी चीजें उसी समय से निकल के आ रही है. And when he understood that, he was able to release them. With this new knowledge, वो सारी अपने mental states को release कर पाया था. So अब इस नए space से, when he looked at a leaf, looked deeply into it. So like when you're meditating, you are focusing on something. So he was focusing on a leaf, and he realized that it was not just a leaf. खाली एक पत्ता नहीं है. The leaf was the sun and its warmth. It was the clouds and their rain. And how everything combined, earth, time, space, everything combined to facilitate its growth. So in that moment, when you look at the leaf deeply, you realize that the whole entire universe is present in that leaf. It's not just a leaf. जो सारी पीछे जो उसकी what has been put into it, that comes up. You're able to understand that. हम सोचते कि leaves जो है जब spring आएगी तो new leaves आ जाएंगे, growth हो जाती है, but it is not so. Because the imprint of the leaf, it exists in the womb of the universe. It is already present there. It is ready to be born in spring. वो एकदम से नहीं उठ के आता. जब spring आती है तो leaves आ जाते नहीं है. It's already exists. Its imprint is there. कि अच्छा अब ये leaf जो है होना है. And the same is with human beings. It is not that they die and just fade away. Their existence is always there. It is just that our human eyes cannot see them. Those whom we have lost, we cannot see them. But they are existing. They are very much there. उनका वजूद खत्म नहीं होता कभी भी. And in the same manner as the leaf, the human body also exists in the womb of the universe. वो जो pass on हो गए हैं, उनकी imprint is there in the universe and they are ready to be born again. And the leaf and the human being, the human body जो भी होना है, they are of the same matter, because now both are energy imprints in the universe. And उसी में से ही वो उत्पन्न होंगे. तो कुछ भी lost नहीं होता. Everything exists. And this understanding, once you understand that nothing is lost, this completely refutes that there is a birth and a death. These are just distinctions created by the human mind to understand it. So otherwise the soul is a continuum. वो हमेशा exist ही करता रहता है. So Gautama जो है, he used to sit under the people tree every day. And village के पास एक जंगल में था वो people tree. And so जो एक village girl सुजाता थी, she used to come and feed him daily. उसके लिए खाना लेके आती थी उनके लिए. And एक और लड़का था स्वस्ति, he was a cowherd, buffaloes को लेके जाता था किसी के. तो he would bring him fresh grass to lie on. तो वो वहीं पेड़ के नीचे ही रहता था. So one day when Buddha was walking along the river, there was a river nearby. He was just doing walking meditation, walking along the river. Suddenly the thought came to him that it was time for his enlightenment. And कि उसी रात उसको enlightenment मिलने वाली है. He was able to understand that. So once it began to get dark, अपना सारा खाना वाना करके, he sat down in his usual spot under the peepal tree. and sat down in meditation. And through his power of concentration, his mind, body, and breath, they were perfectly aligned. ये नहीं कि इधर उधर भटक रहे कुछ, तो everything was in alignment. And it was his practice of mindfulness that had allowed him to improve his concentration. Mindfulness से ही concentration भी बढ़ती है. And as he sat there in meditation, he again turned his attention inwards to look into his own body. And he could see countless beings, other beings within him. Cells and all, though he could see very easily. But now that day, he became aware of countless other beings also within him. And all kinds, organic, inorganic, grasses, insects, animals, other people, all were one with him. That is what he felt that day when he sat down in meditation. Then he saw all his other lifetimes as well. All those lifetimes that had made him his present self. Just unke piche, whatever has happened, that he was what he was today, he could see all his own past lives, all his births, all his deaths. And it was just not his own. But he saw the whole creation as one. Everything is one. And he could actually experience the joys and sorrows of every living being. He was so connected in that moment to every being, everything in the world. And he could understand that he saw that every cell of his body was a part of the cosmos. And that was how he could feel every element of every being, because everything was one. Cosmos के साथ बिल्कुल जैसे कि everything flow होके एक ही चीज हो गई थी. Then his meditation began to deepen even more, and he could suddenly see countless worlds being created and destroyed. From within himself, only he could understand it all. Countless births and deaths of every being. And none of it was true reality. It was just what he was like being shown pictures of within him. And like waves which rise and fall back, he could understand that your births and deaths there will be just rise and they fall back. But when the waves are rising and falling, the sea is constant. The waves are coming and going back into the sea. The sea is the only constant reality. And he realized in that moment that births and deaths are like the waves. While his being, the soul's being, that was the constant reality and unchangeable. So jo soul jo hai, it does not change at all. But the lifetimes, the births and deaths, they come and go. And this realization gave him a new level of understanding. एकदम से उनको सारी चीजें समझ आ गई. And at that very moment, Bahar also a very violent thunderstorm started. Very violent one, lightning, rain, heavy rain, बहुत होने लग गया सब कुछ outside. Nature also just blasted off. He became totally wet, but he did not move at all. He kept sitting in that space of meditation, continuing to look inwards. Then he turned his attention to why human beings suffer, which was what he had left his home to understand. Why is there suffering in this world? Why do people suffer? And now the realization came to him that all beings are actually one. And they suffer because they do not understand this oneness. हमें लगता है कि वो अलग है, हेमा अलग है, मोना अलग है, सब अलग-अलग individuals हैं. He does not understand, so he is ignorant about the oneness. And this ignorance is the root cause of all our suffering. जो भी हमारी suffering है, because of this ignorance, it rises. And ignorance happens because man does not look truly at the nature of things, at what is the reality of things. He does not look deeply into that. If he did that, agar hum sab deeply understand kare, he would reach full understanding, and that would dissolve every sorrow, every kind of anxiety that would get dissolved. And it would give rise to acceptance and love. Sari cheezein bhul ke, he will come into that space of acceptance and love for everyone, because he would know everyone, everything is one. Gautam realized that understanding and love are one. Without understanding, there can be no love. Every person is the sum total of all his physical, emotional, social conditions, what all he has faced. And when we understand from where each is coming, kya, uski pressures kya hai, what are they exposed to, we will be more ready to accept them. And it will give rise to compassion and love within us, that understanding. तो हम easily जो है दूसरे को accept कर पाएंगे, show love towards them. But in order to love, it is first necessary to understand. जब तक आप कुछ समझ नहीं पाओगे दूसरे को, you cannot love them. So understanding is the key to liberation. Understanding आ गई तो you are liberated. And for this understanding to come, we need to live mindfully, be in the present moment. This is the core teaching of what Buddha is telling us. That only agar understanding layer, if we release ignorance, understanding aa jayegi, ignorance hat jayegi. And to get that understanding, we need to live mindfully, be in the present moment, be aware of what we are doing. That is the core teaching. That is what he wants to teach. And when we practice mindfulness, we have the ability to look deeply. And जब हम deeply किसी चीज में देखते हैं into the heart of anything, उसके बारे में हमें समझ आ जाती है. It will reveal itself. And that is again the secret of mindfulness, looking deeply into things. And then life is illuminated, literally lightens up by right understanding. You know, the 8 जो noble उनके path के 8-fold जो हम कहते हैं, which we learn in school also, that right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. These are the foundation of living a good life. एक बार ये understanding आ जाती तो ये सारी चीजें आ जाती. That moment of his enlightenment, जब सिद्धार्थ को enlightenment हुई, understanding आ गई, it was as if he could look into everyone's mind and heart. And he could hear their cries of suffering and joy, whatever they were going through. And in that moment, he gained divine sight, divine hearing, and even gained the ability to travel anywhere without moving. These were his, what you could say, blessings in that moment of his enlightenment. और जब उसको ये सारी चीजें समझ आ गई, ये सारी आ गई उसको की awareness that I am able to do all this, एकदम से बाहर भी शांति हो गई. जो स्टॉर्म आ रहा था वो बिल्कुल रुक गया, स्काइज क्लियर हो गए, सब कुछ शांत हो गया. And Gautama suddenly felt as if he had broken free from some prison. किसी बहुत कहीं पे बहुत जकड़ के रखा हुआ था उसको, उसमें से suddenly he was able to come out. Ignorance had been his jailkeeper, but now he was free. Ignorance एकदम खत्म हो गई थी, so he was free. And a great feeling of freedom and calmness descended on him. And he suddenly realized that I have found the great way. जो मैं ढूंढना चाहता था वो मुझे मिल गया. और in that moment he suddenly thought of his parents. अभी तक कभी उसको याद नहीं आई थी. He never had paid attention to those thoughts. But उस moment में of his enlightenment, his thoughts turned towards his parents, his wife, his son, all his friends जिनको छोड़ के आया था, his palace, Kapilvastu, his people, the country that he was supposed to serve. And how he remembered how he had promised to find a way to liberate them all from suffering. And he now realized that he could go back and show them the way. And ekdam se his whole being was filled with a deep love for everyone. Now I want to uplift everyone, teach everyone the way, the great way that he had found. And by the time it was morning, and he suddenly saw Swasti, the buffalo boy जो था, approaching. उसको बड़ा हैरानी हुई कि इतनी जल्दी कैसे आ गए, because the boy never came so early. But Swasti came and said that I was very worried about you कि रात को इतना तेज तूफान आया था, तो मुझे डर था कि आप ठीक हो या ना हो, इसलिए मैं आपको देखने आया हूँ. Then Swasti came very close to him and then just stood and looked at him. बड़े हैरान परेशान होकर उनको देख रहा था, सिद्धार्था को. Then he said, teacher, why are you looking so different? वो कहता है, अच्छा, how do I look different? Siddhartha asked him. He says, I can't say how you're looking different, but you are looking different, as if you are a star. So Buddha just looked at the boy and smiled, and he said, okay, you go back home now, you do your work, or afternoon, when you're free, bring all the children of the village. I want to tell all of you something interesting. So then Swasti went away. Okay, fine, I'll come later. And thodi der baad, the girl Sujata used to bring his food. She came. And she also just stood and could not take her eyes off him. So there was something very indefinable. She could not say, but usko man tha ki bas khade hoke dekhti hi rehna. And when she was looking at him, a deep feeling of peace filled her. And not just peace, also a deep feeling of joy filled her. And she could feel that it was in him, and that was what was coming into her. उनके अंदर ये joy and peacefulness भरी हुई है, and as I am standing in front of me, I am also being filled with it. And she just wanted to sit there in front of him and never get up. That was the feeling coming to her. So Siddhartha looked at her and he understood her feelings. So he just smiled and he said, okay, today is the happiest day of my life because last night I found the great way and now I want to share it with everyone. उसको एक ही बात स्ट्राइक हुई, ओके, यू विल बी गोइंग नाउ, अब आपको शेयर करना है तो आप यहाँ से जाओगे, यू विल बी लीविंग अस. तो सिद्धार्था स्माइल्ड काइंडली दैट यस आई मस्ट लीव, बट वो तो पता ही था कि आई हैड टू लीव. But before I leave, I want to teach all you children who have been with me all these days what I have understood. But all the children of the village jitne the, they used to come and sit with him and talk to him. So it's sort of अच्छी friendship बन गई थी उनमें. So he said, I will stay a few days to teach you all and I'll keep coming back to you. ये नहीं कि मैं छोड़ के जा रहा हूँ, मैं मिलता रहूँगा. So in the afternoon, all the children gathered around him. सब जो आते थे वो आ गए. और सुजाता as usual सबको खाने के लिए लेके आती थी हमेशा सबके लिए. Then Sujata announced to the children कि आज तो बहुत important day है because our respected teacher has gained enlightenment. He has found the path and now he will not be able to stay with us. He has to move on. Then she requested him, Siddhartha, कि please teach us the path, and all the children also सब request करने लग गए. So Siddhartha told them, just sit quietly. And he said, you are all very intelligent children and you will be able to understand what I want to share. And if one is willing to apply his heart and mind, they could understand and be able to follow what I'm going to teach. So if you listen properly, deeply, you will understand. Then as they were children, in simple language, he gave the example of an orange. He took the example of an orange. He said that when you can eat it, you eat an orange and you can eat it with awareness or you can eat it without awareness. That is up to you. Now, what does it mean to eat it with awareness? When you're eating the orange, you are aware that you are eating the orange. You fully experience it. Its lovely fragrance, its taste, sweetness, whatever it is. When you peel the orange, you know you are peeling the orange. When you're removing a slice, you know you're removing the slice and putting it in your mouth. And you're aware of the lovely fragrance coming from the orange, the sweet taste of the orange. He said, the orange I just had, that had 9 sections. I ate each with awareness. And each moment I realized how precious and wonderful it is. It is like a gift of nature. So it became something real for me, very real to me. And if the orange is real, the person eating it is real. That is what it means to eat an orange in awareness. And what does it mean to eat an orange without awareness? When you are eating the orange, आपको पता ही नहीं है कि you are eating the orange. You do not experience its fragrance, its sweetness. You do not know how it looks, how you're peeling it. So that way you cannot appreciate its wonderful nature, that it's such a lovely gift from nature. And when you're not aware that you're eating the orange, it is not real. Then the person eating it also is not real. वो कहीं lost ही है. And when you're eating it mindfully, you're truly in touch with it. Your mind is not going after other thoughts, कुछ और किसी और चीज के बारे में कल परसों कल वो नहीं, आप किसी के चीज के बारे में नहीं सोच रहे हो. You're fully in the present moment. So living in mindful awareness just means to live in the present moment. Your body and mind are here in the now. And a person who practices mindfulness can see things in the orange that others are not able to see. The aware person can see the orange tree. You can see the orange blossoms. Before it became an orange, uska kaise lagte the wo, uski khushboo kya thi. He's also aware of the sunlight, the rain, which nourished the orange. So looking deeply, you can see 10,000 things which have made the orange possible. How is it over here now in my hand? So looking at the orange, the person who practices awareness, he can see all the wonders of the universe and how all things interact with one another. Nothing is on its own. Standalone kuch bhi nahi hai. Everything is connected. Then Siddhartha continued to talk to the children. The children, our daily life is just like an orange. Just as an orange is made up of sections, each day is made up of 24 hours. And like 1 hour is like one section. So living all 24 hours of a day in awareness is like eating all the sections of the orange with awareness. And he says, the path I have found is the path of living each hour of the day in awareness. Mind and body are always present in the moment. And the opposite is to live in forgetfulness. If you live in forgetfulness, you don't even know whether you're alive. You don't experience life fully because our mind and body are not here. पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ आप घूमते रहते हो. You are not here together. So then he asked Sujata, do you think a person who lives in awareness will make many mistakes or will he make a few? So Sujata then stood up and said, respected teacher, a person who lives in awareness will make few mistakes. He is aware all the time. And then she gave the example of her own self. Iti, my mother always tells me that a girl should pay attention to how she walks, how she talks, how she stands, how she's laughing, how is she working. If she's aware of that, she will not cause sorrow to herself, suffering to herself or to others. So she will be aware of what she's thinking, what words she's using, what actions she's doing. So Siddhartha said, that's perfectly right. A person who lives in awareness knows what they are thinking, what he's thinking, what they're saying or doing. And such a person can avoid the thoughts and actions which can cause suffering to oneself or to others. That is the power of awareness. Then living in awareness, of course, means living in the present moment. One is aware of what is taking place around you. Within oneself, in one's surrounding, everything, you are aware of that. So one is in direct contact with life. Because he is able to understand what is in himself and what is happening around him. So he's living life completely in the moment. And understanding leads to tolerance and love. When all beings understand one another, they will accept and love one another. There will not be much suffering in the world then. Then Siddhartha asked Swasti, can you tell me that are people able to love if they are not able to understand? Swasti said, yes, respected teacher, without understanding, love is most difficult. Then he gave an example from his own life. What had happened a few days back. He said something happened to my sister, Bhima, a few days back. She was crying all night long. And my elder sister, the other sister, Bala, she lost her patience. अब बच्चा रो रहा था तो उसको गुस्सा आ गया और उसने उसको थोड़ा सा थप्पड़ मार दिया. तो उससे वो और जोर से रोने लगी. Then I happened to wake up and I picked up Bhima and I realized she was feverish. So then I called my other sister Bala and I told her, place your hand on her head. And when she did that, she understood why Bhima was crying. So she suddenly understood that usko fever hai, she's not feeling well, and that is why she's crying. So immediately uska attitude change ho gaya. She ekdam softened and she took up the child in her arms, giving her love. And Bhima also stopped crying. Even though she still had the fever, she felt that love and she stopped crying. She said, then Swasti continued, I think that was because Bala understood why Bhima was crying. She was able to give her the love. So without understanding, love is not possible. So with a very simple explanation example, he was able to show why understanding and love go together. And Siddhartha agreed that absolutely without understanding, love is not possible. Only when love is there can be acceptance. And when you live in awareness, you deepen your understanding. So he told the children to practice living in awareness, and you will be able to understand yourself, other people, all things that are happening. You will have hearts of love. And that is the wonderful path I've discovered. So then Swasti joined her hands and said, respected teacher, can we call this path the path of awareness? Siddhartha said, surely you can call it the path of awareness. I like that very much. And the path of awareness leads to perfect awakening. That is what this path is. Then Sujata again joined her hands and said, you are the awakened one, the one who shows how to live in awareness. Can we call you the awakened one? Siddhartha again nodded. Yes, that is very nice. I would love to be called the awakened one. Then Sujata continued, okay, the language they used was Magadhi over there, that since the region was Magad. So in Magadhi, awaken means Buddh. Usko hum Buddh kehte hain, awaken ko. So a person who is awakened can be called a Buddha in Magadhi language. So we can call you Buddha. Siddhartha was very delighted with his new name and the other children also. Then another 14-year-old boy in Nalaka, he stood up and he said, respected Buddha, we are very happy to receive your teaching on the path of awareness. And so that Sujata has told me that for the past 6 months, you have been sitting under this people tree and meditating. And only last night you got enlightenment. So can we call this tree the tree of awakening, the bodhitree? Bodhi has the same root as Buddha. Both mean awakening. So isko bhi hame name de dena chahiye tree ko, that it is the tree of awakening. Buddha was again very happy with that. And he had not guessed कि बच्चों के साथ ऐसे बातें करके he would get a new name. The path he had found would get a name. Even the tree, they would all receive special names. He was very happy about that. So by that time it was getting dark and the children had to go back, and they were all in a very happy mood, feeling very pleased having sat with him for so long. So Buddha's first teaching had become a great success. And his two main teachings, jo hote, living in awareness and in connection with between understanding and love, that was all very easily explained and accepted by the children. So when we reduce all those like great thoughts or great teachings into something simple, it is easy to absorb. That is what his first, you could say, the sermon that he had, unacknowledged sermon with the children, that showed that the path is actually very simple. And it's just living in awareness, being aware of what we are doing each moment. So I come to the end of my discourse about his enlightenment. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you. I know it was a very long one, and I hope confusion nahi create kiya maine.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a really nice session, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meeraji. I think what you have told us to live in the presence, which is a very difficult thing. Even
Yes,
when
sir.
I was listening to you, my mind was also going here and there.
Yes, sir.
So it is very important for everyone
Yes,
to
it happens.
develop the habit. And I think the meditation is the right way of
Yes,
developing this habit of living in the presence.
Looking within.
Yeah, though in our culture or in our society, the way we have been brought up, It is
जी,
very difficult because the parents are used to do the plan the future for their children. We also used to do the plan for our children. So
जी,
these things means we keep on doing what we are doing in the future. So I think thank you so much. We will at least I will definitely try to bring this in my own so that we can learn it. A great session. Thank you so
जी,
much.
जी. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Meenuji, for this lovely session. I'm feeling very, very connected to this session, especially with this Buddha talk, as I usually tell you.
जी, जी.
I'm in Dharamshala. Yesterday only I went
Okay.
to the monastery of Dalai Lama, so I'm
जी,
feeling
जी,
all the more connected.
जी.
So, thank you very much.
Most welcome. Thank you so much. So I wanted to say about Sunil ji planning about the future. Of course, we are human beings and we plan for the future. So that is perfectly okay. But we should like be in the present moment also and create the future that we want. The more we create it in this moment, the better the future will be. We don't know, we plan कि अच्छा बच्चा बड़ा होके डॉक्टर बनेगा या पायलट बनेगा, but by the time he's grown up, what is the situation, what are his inclinations, हमें नहीं पता. So generally we have that thought in mind. That's perfectly okay because we are humans and we think that way. But again, being grounded in the present moment makes those thoughts also possible. So grounding जो आज की होती है, अभी की होती है, that will help things to move forward in a better way.
I fully agree with you, Meenaji. It's definitely, if you will live in the present and you will just have the positive thinking all the time, definitely your future will also be better.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
So, okay, I think we should wind up the session now. Yes, Alicia?
It's hard to be in, in the present moment all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But whenever you understand that you're not there, just bring your thoughts back. It should not be a fight for you. No, I have to live in the present. It's okay. And if you're not able to come back, just look at your breath, watch your breath, hold it for a moment. पूरा ध्यान आ जाएगा अभी इसी moment में breath चाहिए. Where is the breath gone? There you're grounded in the present.
So what about when you have to make a plan? So that is a thinking which is taking you away from the present moment.
So as I just said that we make plans because we are human beings. So that's also perfectly okay. It should not be like a tussle नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yeah,
ठीक है, plans
yeah,
बनाओ आप, but living in the moment is different. Planning is different. The present moment को आप छोड़ोगे नहीं, आप आगे जा ही नहीं सकते. Plan तो बना सकते हो. Whether plan materializes or not is not in your hands. We human beings are very good at planning ahead. अच्छा अब मुझे ये करना है, वो करना है. We don't know what is there. अब सवेरे हम उठेंगे नहीं उठेंगे हमें नहीं मालूम. कोई बात नहीं, प्लान कर लो आप. But
What about
उसमें
thinking?
हाँ, thinking में overthinking नहीं होना चाहिए. Planning is there. You understand you need to do certain tasks to reach that goal, whatever you want to achieve. वो तो है. तो उसके वो है ना कि present moment को नहीं छोड़ो. Keep bringing your thoughts back to the present moment. So here, staying grounded in the moment. When you are here, you are able to plan also, and you can make it possible also. So in the present moment, you are creating what you want to do. But overthinking nahi lao. Usko thoda sa be aware that yes, this is overthinking. I'm going beyond. Continuously usko havi mat hone rehne. That is what I feel.
When you're in the present moment and you are only aware of what your consciousness, yourself, then you're not actually thinking. You can't make any plans. You can't think.
Now look like you're planning for
You
a
will just
holiday.
do. You will only do, respond.
Yes.
You will act, but you will not make any, any thinking.
Okay, just I'll take the example of a holiday. You're planning a holiday. So now in the present moment, you have to be there, but you have to think of the holiday as well. अब ये तो नहीं कि ना मैं कल उठ के फटाफट से US चली जाऊँ, वो नहीं हो पाएगा. I need to plan at least 3 months ahead if I want to go to the US. So that is, you are doing that. What is necessary, you are doing it. So वो तो करना ही पड़ता है. पर वो है कि keep coming back to the present moment. अब सारा टाइम तो आप नहीं बैठ के सोचोगे ना कि अच्छा मुझे ये प्लान करना है, वहां जाना है, यूएस में ये करना है, अभी पहले मुझे ये करना है, वो करना है. सारा
But
टाइम
life is like this, no? That if we're very busy in life,
Yeah.
then you have so many activities, then you will spend very little time for yourself, when you come back
So
to
no,
the...
it is not that. When you're doing any activity, be fully present. That is all. It is not कि अलग से बैठ के आप लोग present होने की चीज. You're working on the computer, be fully present. ये नहीं कि साथ में music चल रहा है, you have a phone call to attend, or you're thinking of something else. You're fully present to your work. So you are in the moment. You are meditating. So meditation is not what you sit for 2 hours. Meditation should be 24/7.
Mhm.
Your whole life is a meditation. Each breath is a meditation. जो आप breath ले रहे हो, it is meditation. So अगर आप वो 2 घंटे नहीं भी बैठ सकते, that is more to create a discipline in you. So you're not able to sit that. If you're living your life fully, mindfully, you are meditating. I hope that explains it.
I think what you are saying is, it is like focusing on what you are doing. If you are sitting with your
Absolutely.
family, if you are
Yes.
sitting with your family, focus on with the family, and
Yes.
don't try to go haywire, and be focused. If you are working in the office, focus on your work.
Exactly.
And by doing so, I think the results will be better,
Much better. Yes.
and your own performance improves.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you.
thoughts? Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Okay.
beautiful. Beautiful to have awareness on the very start of this beautiful day.
Right.
And yeah, and
I was feeling
normally,
so blessed that yes, I'm getting the chance to talk about his enlightenment on the day of his enlightenment.
yes, yes.
It
I
just
was so
suddenly
surprised.
materialized. I don't know how.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, I didn't know about this. And I'm so lucky that even if it's 8:12, that I switched on and I still got the gist of it. And every day I've been walking to the beach. I stay very close to Jew Beach and I walk. And today, as I'm listening, I am seeing things on the beach which I have not seen.
Okay.
I mean, even if it's a stray dog, I've suddenly started noticing him,
Okay.
but very those minute little
Right.
things.
We just
I was
missed
upset.
them.
Yeah, I was upset. I sent juice to my daughter. I forgot to close the lid. And she said, Mama, kya kiya aapne mere pure switches. She's a makeup artist, so uska pura back kharab ho gaya. And 1 minute I was like, ungrateful child, man mein aa gaya. सुबह उठ के मैंने ये सब किया आपके लिए. But then instantly it was, bless you, I am sorry, अगली बार नहीं होगा, I will recheck, so that awareness of, otherwise that whole thought would be upsetting me.
Right.
And then immediately it was like over, done with. तो मुझे ऐसे मन हुआ बोलने के लिए कि listen, you could have told that in the evening when you come home, la. मेरा दिन क्यों बिगाड़ दिया, kind of. But then
It's
again,
okay,
I thought to myself, yeah, she's a kid and उसकी maturity अपने आप आ जाएगी one day. But at least let me not take it to the heart. अगली बार ध्यान रखूं कि cover को ठीक बंद करे. Thank you so much.
Mindfulness teaches you not to just like remain in those what has happened. Let it go.
Correct.
It was meant to happen. It has happened. Now just reliving it in your mind all the time is not going to help.
Yeah. No, normally I would be saying, अच्छा देख तो मैंने इतना इसके लिए किया सुबह उठ के, and ऐसे वाला feeling. But immediately this time I am smiling. I am, अच्छा bottle से juice गिर गया. So sorry. मतलब अगली बार नहीं होगा. And I'm smiling. I'm not angry. I am wanting to be angry. I'm not angry.
Good.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that it had that effect on you.
Thank you.
Fine. So all of you have a very good day with Purnima. Enlightenment. I hope you reach that space of enlightenment soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
We should wind up now. Alicia, yes? Yes, Alicia? She's there? Alicia? She's gone there somewhere, I think. So, okay, fine. You may all leave. Oh, she will stop it whenever she wants. Thank you.
Thanks
you
a
all
lot.
for joining.
Thank you so much, Meenaji. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.